Well, many families along the East Coast are still picking up the pieces in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy, which devastated parts of the northeastern United States. But there were other countries heavily impacted by the storm as well. People in Cuba and Haiti are suffering from storm damages in their own countries, and as a result, Pastors for Peace is making an emergency appeal and asking that you remember people of those countries as you donate to those impacted by the storm. Joining us live by phone to talk in more detail about how you can help is Pastors for Peace spokesperson Gail Walker. Ms. Walker, thanks for joining us today.
It's good to be here.
Well, first of all, tell us, why is your organization focusing its efforts on these two countries in particular?
Well, we're actually focusing on people in the United States as well because we're here in New York City. And some of our groups that we work with are working with people in New York City who are also not eligible for FEMA support. But our main focus, as you said, is on Cuba and on Haiti because they were so heavily damaged by Hurricane Sandy, and because the news here, and thanks for you for being the exception, but the news here has really not covered that story.
Sure. Well, and you're right. We have really missed the fact that so much of the Caribbean and the areas have also had this incredible devastation and impacted again and again, as it were, to a region that has been so horribly hit. What exactly are you doing with your organization, and what would you like our listeners here at KPFT to do?
Okay, let me first tell you what we're doing. Let me first just highlight some of the things that show the severity of the storm. In Cuba, the eastern part of Cuba, particularly the city of Santiago, which is the second largest city of Cuba, over 1 million people, they had winds of over 110 to 120 miles per hour. There is not a tree left standing in the city of Santiago. They estimate that there are probably 130,000 homes that were damaged and are unlivable within the city and the surrounding area. So there are people devastated. People have, if you've seen pictures or been in Santiago, it has the beautiful, what they call French tile, like the red tile roofs. So if you can imagine those red tiles in 110 mile per hour winds, they become bullets, they become shrapnel. Sure. They were zipping around, and everything they hit, they would destroy. So it's really unbelievable as far as we're used to here in this country.
Oh, of course. And while you're describing what's actually physically going on, to your knowledge, what are the conditions like on the grounds in these affected areas? I mean, are they getting fresh water? We're talking
about Cuba. Haiti is another particular story, but the good thing about Cuba is that they really have a tremendously effective civil defense system. They're prepared for hurricanes in a way that we don't. They offered to help us with Katrina, and we turned them down, and we shouldn't have. Yeah. They evacuate people. Yeah. They have it together. They evacuate farm animals, chickens. Everything is put into a safe place, and it shows the level of their being able to keep their people safe. There were still 11 people killed in Cuba, but there were over 100 people killed in New York City area.
Right.
So the ability to prepare and within hours after Hurricane Sandy hit, they had put food and other supplies on trains and trucks from the western part of Cuba, which was just hit with like a storm, sure, and started moving food into and medical supplies into the Santiago area. I mean, they can teach the world about preparing for a hurricane, which is one of the reasons we work with Cuba, is that we can learn from them as well as them needing solidarity with us.
Sure.
Haiti, of course, was a very different system in terms of their ability to protect their people. They weren't hit as hard, thank God, but they were still, you had people living in tents.
Well, yeah. Are they still recovering from that devastating earthquake that happened a few years ago?
Absolutely.
How much did Sandy actually do to the progress that was happening? I mean,
it destroyed much of the progress that had been made. One of the concerns that we and others have in Haiti, it's a concern everywhere. You have all this groundwater around and the whole public health issues that happen afterwards. I mean, there's the destruction of the hurricane, but then there's the concerns that happen the next day and the next week and the next month. In Haiti, cholera, which came after the earthquake, is now coming again, and it still was, they hadn't eliminated it. And cholera is about good sewage disposal and good public health systems. In Cuba, again, the people are trained. Someone told me the kids have this little jingle that they're taught at school about washing their hands, and they were playing this game about washing their hands and disposing of, waste properly,
right,
that they learned at school.
Ms. Walker, thank you so much for joining us today. Do you have a URL where people can find out more about Pastors for Peace?
We do. It's pastorsforpeace.org. And that's our website. And on the website, there's a place where people can donate. They can do donations right off their credit card, and they can either give them to us for our work there, or they can designate them to go to buy supplies for Cuba. We're going to be going down there probably in a few months with a whole construction brigade, and we're going to be we're working with people in Florida now to send supplies sooner than that.
Thank you.
People can help.
We have been speaking with Pastors for Peace spokesperson Gail Walker. Thank you, Ms. Walker, for your time today.
Thank you.